Hello, my name is Don Ricks, and I've been working with fruit trees for many years. In fact, I have picked fruit for many years. Recently, I've become involved with the Seattle Tree Fruit Society and various organizations that are helping backyard growers to protect their fruit and harvest their fruit. One of the things that I've become particularly interested in are exclusion devices that you can put over the apples or pears or whatever to keep the bugs from getting into the apples. I'll talk more about that in a minute. First, let me show you, if you have any questions, I've got an email address and I'm open to any questions at donnieappleseed@yahoo.com. Hopefully with a little cutesy email like that, it can help you to remember it. Again though, my name's Don Ricks. I happen to like the original Johnny Appleseed, but that's another story. A brief overview. A lot of people use synthetic pesticides in their backyard, and that's fine. Synthetic pesticides that are approved through the nurseries or through the big box stores like Lowe's are probably going to be relatively safe. They're going to be even more safe than the pesticides that are used on the big farms where most of your fruit is produced. And I happen to think that most of that is safe. However, that's my bias. Some people believe that we need organic pesticides to be even safer with the residuals that are left on the fruit. Not only is it safer, but it is more aesthetically and environmentally pleasing for many people to use an organic pesticide. And there are organic pesticides that will work. For example, very quickly, there is neem oil that can be sprayed on trees. It's been used for centuries, basically a harmless ingredient. There is kaolin clay, sometimes called surround, that can be mixed with water and sprayed on trees. A totally inert material, very harmless. It provides an irritant to the bugs. It keeps the bugs out. Or you can get a fermenting bacteria like spinosad or GF120, and in some cases you can even spray little pockets onto sections of the tree, and you don't even put the organic spray on the fruit itself, but it's an attract and kill for the bugs. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about protective devices. That's sort of my specialty. It's what I've been working on for years. Some people prefer not using any sort of spray whatsoever. For example, in some of the public parks, concerns about liability are such that people do not wish to use any sort of spray. Or because some people do not want to spray and then have to respray every 10 days and change their clothes every 10 days, the easiest thing is just put a protective device over the tree or over the apple, and then you come back at the end of the season. I've got several protective devices here that I can demonstrate, and then later, for the second part of this program, we'll go up into the orchard and I'll show you how it's actually done on a tree in the orchard. So the simplest way is, let's say if you had a container, you could put a mosquito netting over the entire tree. And that's what we did here. We didn't need as much mosquito netting as what I've got, but that's one solution. Or you could decide that you've got a big tree, you don't want to spray the whole tree, you just want to protect 20 or 30 apples. That's okay. Protecting 20 or 30 apples is better than protecting 0. So historically, one of the things that has been used, it's been used in Japan, is what we call the Fuji bag. The Fuji bag has a little paper clip on the side. You put this over the apple, you take that paper clip and you wind it around the apple, and then you've protected that apple. No bugs can get in here now. Also, in Japan they do that to get the perfect blush on that apple. And there's a method for that, but we're not going to be talking about that here. What has become popularized quite a bit, and I'm in another video talking about that, is foot socks. This is one of the most common ways now to protect an apple. You simply take that foot sock, and you put it over the apple when it's first coming out. It's only nickel size, and then you can wrap it around, or you can tie it, and then the apple will grow inside of that foot sock, and then you take that foot sock off at the end of the season when you're ready to harvest. This is one of the most common protective devices. Another device that many people have used is simply a bag, a plastic bag, the kind that you would use to protect your sandwich. You can put this over your apple, seal it shut if you've got a sealable side. You should cut the corners off though, because you want to have any water that drips in at the top be able to leak out through the side. So this is another popular method that's used by many people. Another device is to actually put a paper sack over it. You can put this paper sack over the apple late May, 1st of June, tie it into that apple. It doesn't have to be a white paper sack. It could be a brown paper sack. It could be a green paper sack. It doesn't matter. Any of those will work. It has the, oh, and one more that I want to talk about is you could even have a cloth bag. I want to go back to the paper sack though. On the paper sack is going to have the effect of keeping the light out, and so that apple is going to stay green. When you take that paper sack off in September, that apple will still be green, and you could put a little stencil materials, I don't know if you need to get closer, and then that apple will suddenly color. It's been deprived of sun for months. It will suddenly color up, and when it turns red, everything but where you had that stencil on will turn red, and where you had the stencil on will remain whitish or greenish. And so you can actually make a message on your apple. And we're doing that this year at Piper's Orchard. We're actually going to put poetry on apples. There's going to be more and more devices that will work in that direction. I think there's a future for it. For example, you could use a P-Touch labeler, and then you just type out whatever message you want, have the label come out, zip, put that on the apple. Another device that I've come across is an apple bagging device that's been perfected by people in China. And this is a device that's hooked up to a 6-volt battery. You pick it up with your wax. You open up the opening. You put it on the apple, and then you can seal that shut. There's a heating unit in here attached to a volt battery. And I don't have it shutting right now, but it will. I just need to get this hooked in right. Anyway, it will heat this shut, and you will have protected your apple that way. So this is an apple backing device. It does work. I think it will improve with time, and we will get better and better at having a device that's like that. So here you have many devices that are available that you can use for protecting your apple or your other fruit. Some of the other fruits are a little too small, and apples seem to attract the most pests, the codling moth, the apple maggot fly, and some of these others. We have various devices, and you can purchase some of these. You can find out a little bit more about purchasing them. There is a link at the right of this website, www.pipersorchard.org. That's a 120-year-old orchard that I work with. But we also have a little link off to the side that tells you where you can purchase some of these materials if you want to buy them on your own. I hope this has been instructive. Keep in mind you can ask me questions if you want. Thank you. Hi, I'm Don Ricks. I'm out here in the orchard. There's various devices you can use. There's the foot sock that you can put around the apple. This one's got a long stem, so we can tie that foot sock right in like this. Another method is we can get a paper sack and we can put that over the apple itself, like right here. We put the paper sack over the apple, and staple that shut, or we have down here the plastic bag with the apple bagging device. Any of these are methods that'll work. Thanks.
That's it.